What up, wise guys? It's your wise girl Alicia, and today we're talking about relationships. When someone talks about relationships, most of us think about romantic or sexual relationships. But really, we have a bunch of different kinds of relationships in our lives. A lot of us have some kind of a relationship with our caregiver or parent.
Sleepy kittens. Wow, this is garbage.
Some of us have relationships with our siblings.
Come, siblings, we have a you-know-what to slay.
And most of us have relationships with our friends.
Who's your best friend?
And when we start talking about healthy relationships, sometimes it's easier to start by talking about healthy friendships. Because a lot of the qualities that make up a healthy friendship also make up healthy relationships. So what would you say if I asked, what makes a good friend? Common answers would be loyalty, trust, support. We might look for friends who have the same values as us. For example, if our personal value is to get good grades, we'll probably look for friends who have that value too. Or maybe it doesn't matter what your friends' values are as long as they support you. But now if we switch that mindset and we start talking about romantic or sexual relationships, do any of the qualities that we look for in people change? What makes a good partner? Loyalty, honesty, trust, respect are still really common answers. Just think about the characteristics you would look for in a partner. What do you value out of those kinds of relationships? Let's use an example. Say you value respect. How is respect shown? Maybe respect is shown by not interrupting your partner when they're speaking. Or maybe respect is shown by making time for each other. And just like how we talked in our values lesson about communication, it's important to communicate to our partners the things that we value from them and value out of that relationship. This can and should be an ongoing conversation in all kinds of relationships. The more you get to know somebody, the more you can understand how to be a better friend, partner, or family member to them. And then they can learn how to be better to you. The important thing to remember with communication is that it's a two-way street. The speaker must be as clear as possible, and the listener must show that they're paying attention and respond in appropriate and sensitive ways. Everyone knows what it feels like to be talking to someone and feel like they're not paying attention to you. And something we can do to work on our communication skills is to practice active listening within our relationships. If both parties in the relationship are actively listening and clearly communicating their needs, that relationship can be a healthy experience for everyone. Now, I know the phrase active listening and clearly communicating can be used a lot, and it's not always clear how to do those things. But I have a couple tips and tricks that you can use in your various relationships. Let's start by talking about active listening. Like I said before, we all know that it sucks when someone's not listening to us when we're telling them something. So some things we should avoid are giving advice that wasn't really asked for, changing the subject, or laughing when the speaker's being serious. To practice active listening, you should focus and listen intently, and that will help you make them feel supported. And if you're ever unsure how to react to a conversation or a situation, the best thing you can do is to ask, especially when it comes to whether or not someone needs advice. It's always best to ask, how do you need to be supported right now? Would you like some advice, or do you just need a soundboard to talk it out? I know it sounds a little robotic, but it can really help your relationships because you ask directly instead of just guessing. Another technique I'm sure you've heard of is using the I statements. I feel, I am, I think. These can also feel a little bit robotic and fake, but I promise you, once you start using those statements, it can really help you communicate your needs better. I even used this once at an old job. I was frustrated with an employee, they were frustrated at me. I used my I statements to tell them exactly how I felt, and then it opened the door for them to tell me how they were feeling. Then we were able to resolve the conflict and move on with our day. Those I statements allow you to be assertive, but not aggressive, because it's allowing you to stand up for yourself without attacking or putting down another person. And if you're in a relationship that you really care about the other person, this is a great technique to use because you take care of yourself and them. Before we go, the question of the day is, what is the top quality that you provide in a relationship or friendship? And how do you demonstrate it? Leave your answer in the comment section down below.